Corn School is brought to you by BASF and Pride Seeds.
Bern Tobin here for the Corn School, joined by Ken Currah from BASF. Hey, great to have you back on the Corn School.
For sure, love it.
Awesome. Hey, we're looking at some corn that's really coming on pretty nicely now, and fungicide season is coming at us pretty quickly. What's your thoughts on whether this is going to be a fungicide year? We've got variability all across this crop, all over the province. It's probably going to need some help to get to majority at the end. Where do fungicides fit this year?
Yeah, so fungicides fit on a lot of acres this year, as they're starting to every year in the province now, with a lot of dedicated users now with fungicides at tassel stage. We can look at corn, for instance. My territory planted corn from the last week of April, struggled through May like most of the province, and then there was even corn went in a pretty good long ways into June, June 8th, June 10th for grain, not just for silage. So we have this early planted April crop, we've got a bunch of variable stuff in the middle, and we've got the June planting. And we can look at all of that. So if we look at the early corn planted in April, early planting, yield potential, right? Everybody thinks yield potential, get it in early, let's use fungicide to protect that yield potential. Likewise, we look at the later planted crop, and a lot of growers will think, late planted, I don't want to use fungicide, it's going to make my corn wetter. Not really into that, right? And it's got lower yield potential, so why would I spend more money to protect it? That yield potential may not be there. Well, first of all, that late planted corn, some of them are some of the nicest stands in any given area where they really struggled to get crop in. So that late planted corn has got some nice stands, it's got nice yield potential, it was still well fertilized, so it's got nice productivity underneath it, the foundation is set for yield, so why not protect it? Even more critically, disease comes in more or less by calendar. Disease does not care about crop stage, right? Northern corn leaf blight or eye spot, gray leaf spot, the big one of course is northern. It's coming in when it gets blown in and the spores show up, and it's infecting the field regardless of crop stage. So if that infection comes in and really manifests itself earlier in the grain fill period, so sooner after pollination, we've got a higher risk of yield loss in that corn crop. So late planted corn, also going to be later harvested. It's going to be in the last half of the harvest window, which drags us into November in a lot of places. We need to protect that for both yield and standability concerns.
Now, when I think about fungicides, I think about three things. I think about western bean cutworm, that sort of window. Then there's that middle window, and then the back window is really plant health all the way to harvest. Talk about those three windows that we should be applying it.
Yeah, so the foundation of it all is plant health, because we all love the yield and the revenue and the increased profitability, right? So that's what we're after, is that plant health pass with the core fungicides on the market. And now we've got growers looking at, especially in the lake proximity to Lake Erie, trying to get on top of western bean cutworm because it's proving to be so problematic. And we look at that window, right? Then we bring the third aspect into it, which is growers now looking at, can I use a group 3 fungicide to get Dawn vomitoxin under control, right? And those group 3 fungicides will basically come out with the stated expectation. If the crop is uniform and the product's applied correctly, we're targeting a 50% Dawn suppression, not control, but suppression. So we have to manage that expectation. When I look at those 3 windows,
what are those windows? Give me those dates.
I look at those windows. The plant health pass, when we pull out a product like a Preaxor, for instance, that's been used for a few years now, we come out at basically first tassel, and we can go right to dry silks. So when you can light the silks on fire with a lighter, that's when the window for fungicide closes. We look at the dawn reduction window, that's basically full silking, so we want to see at least 75% of the plants or better with silks protruded, moist silks. Once they dry up, that window is closed as well. And then we bring the western bean cutworm application window into that. That's a very fine, precise window, a lot of scouting involved in that. And we identify those eggs, okay, they're present, we're watching for them, they start to swell up and turn purple, there's your timing, which is basically a right here, right now timing. So if we're doing that plant health pass for yield, now we're just going to throw one of the other products in there to try to catch the other 2 objectives. Timing on those 2 is a lot finer than the plant health pass. So this all has to fit together the right way to really achieve maximum ROI for the dollars invested.
Now, what are those products we're going to be using on the western bean cutworm?
On Western bean cutworms, so you've got a choice of insecticides on the market. The big three will be Coragen, Volium Express, and a new registration from Dow called Delegate. So we have 3 products out there. I know that Tracy Bowdy really reinforced at Southwest Crop Diagnostic Days this week the idea of rotating chemistries for Western bean cutworm now that we have growers that are into, I'm thinking, year 3, year 4 of trying to control on some acres in the real hot spot. So it's really important to rotate chemistries.
So talk about the fields I should go to first. How do I time my fields? Again, what should I be spraying first?
Yeah, so we want to, obviously by planting date kind of gives you an indication of growth stage, so that's the first step to get yourself organized. And then the second step is targeting high yield potential fields, my best fields. Especially if you're a new user or kind of an in and out user of fungicides, you want to target your best yield opportunities to evaluate how to make these products work for you. Highest yield potential fields, especially looking at the late planted high potential fields. You know, if you have a farm with a really good 200 bushel yield history, but it got planted late, we know that yield potential's there. If it went in well, protect it. So yeah, we definitely want to look at the highest yield first and then work down from there. The other key aspect, there's some good third-party data out there from OMAFRA and with the OCC trials, the intensive management trials. So dovetailing aggressive nitrogen rates or more aggressive, more intensive, I guess is the right word, more intensive nitrogen management. So later applications right up to pre-tassel, really trying to push a corn crop. The fungicide for plant health and that yield boost is really dovetailing nicely into that practice. So I encourage growers, if they're dabbling in one of those practices, the late N or the fungicide, do them both together and they'll find there's a nice synergy there. And there's good third-party data to support that practice too.
Awesome. Well, Ken, hey, thank you for your time. Always
welcome.
great to have you on the Corn School, and we'll get some fungicide on this crop and away we go.
Right on, thank you.